Okay, so photography literally means painting with light. So obviously without light there's nothing there. What we record are not the objects in the scenery. What we record on the film or on the sensor is the light that is being reflected by those objects. So it depends on the objects and their arrangement and their texture, their structure, what the best light is for this particular situation, and of course what you want to say. For example, a blue empty sky is a very boring thing. So what you want is some dramatic clouds, for example. So really, there is no perfectly beautiful light in general. When you first get to a place you've never been to, then it will require quite some time to connect with the place and to discover what you might call its inherent qualities. You have to be open. I mean, you have to look a little bit beyond what's there. I think that beauty in the broadest sense is what we are all looking for. Well, of course, to find answers you can do anything. You can go into a Zen monastery or you can wash the dishes. It doesn't really matter. But I think that outdoors is a good place to be, a helpful place to be. Many things have to fall into place to create a really great image, and maybe the most important part, the most important component is always yourself. So I remember one little anecdote that was mentioned by Galen Rowell, a famous Californian landscape photographer. He taught a workshop and they went to an old ghost town, and one of the participants was an emergency surgeon. He said, look, I take off 1 week to get away from seeing dying people every day, and now you take me to a dead town. So I have to do something different for a change. So Galen told this man, well, then you should be, perfectly able to capture the spirit of this place. Just, don't block your emotions. If you feel that this place is dead, then show us that it's dead. So finally, this guy ended up producing the best images during this workshop. I think people in general have the idea that landscape or outdoor photography is something very quiet and slow and very deliberate. So frequently this is the case. But sometimes, like the magic hour, depending on where you are on this planet, this might only last a few minutes at most, or even less than a minute, where you have the perfect light. So you have to be ready. If you see that, it's too late. You have to set up your camera, your equipment in advance. So sometimes you have to be really fast. I think the best way to learn this is during workshops. In a good workshop, it's a mix between some lectures and demonstrations. I mean, simply showing images, showing equipment, and then what you can do with them, what the results will be. And then hands-on practice in the field. And then usually there should be a critique session where everybody contributes 3 or 4 pictures, and then the whole group looks at them and discusses what's good and what's bad about these images. The instructor provides guidance and supplies knowledge, but the participants' contribution to the workshop is equally important. So let's go together. If you're in a group, while being out there in the field, maybe this is distracting, but afterwards, when you view each other's pictures, then something happens that is quite unique, because if you put 10 photographers on the same spot and let them shoot the same thing, you will get 10 very different images. But of course, that's the great thing about the critique sessions. in each workshop, that you are basically forced to share your images already during the workshop. And after you have participated in a workshop, what you should do, of course, is grab your camera and go out on your own or with your friends and practice this stuff and make it perfect. I read an article by some famous outdoor photographer recently who got a prize, Lifetime Achievement Award, and this award was given to him because of a book he published that summed up all his good work in his life, and those were 60 images. So it means that, or let's say during a week-long workshop, maybe as a rule of thumb, if you get one image that you're really happy with, then that's a lot. There's also a component of luck involved. You should be serious but light-hearted. You know, if things don't work out, then this was just an exercise for the next attempt.
Oh, Scheiße. Ich habe mein Bein fotografiert.